Always Wabbit Country's back with you today. It's another beautiful day out. I just thought I'd come out and share with you what I'm going to do today. Well, thank you, Rue. Old sunflower here. There's an opening statement. Not really sure what I want to talk about today. We're just hanging out here at the homestead the last day before spring break when the kids let out of school, and just enjoying that before they come back, enjoying the sounds of the barn with the chickens. Too many roos on the farm. We might have to do something about that. I've offered plenty of times for someone to come out and get the roos. If somebody wants a free roo in North Central Arkansas, you got till Sunday. I'll give you a roo. That's how bad I want to get rid of these roos. I really don't want to do the butchering. I guess you'd call that lazy on my part, but I've really had a lot of stuff going on. Hey, chicken. I want to get my garden bed in this weekend and the greenhouse. Chickens. I just want to enjoy the day. I'm going to go through and clean some water bottles out and the rabbit cages and clean out the rabbit barn itself. Just do a little bit of spring cleaning on the rabbit barn here. Lots of cleanup to do. It's spring, and when you live on the farm, it brings a whole new meaning to spring cleaning. I like it though. Coming right along. One day, I got quite a bit of stuff down. I'm kind of paying for it today. My chickens keep looking at me like, what is that? They see the tripod that the camera's on, and they just don't know what to think. And they're pecking at the video cam. But let me get back into it here. Like I say, I want to clean the rabbit barns, get them done, get the greenhouses up, finish up the garden area, put the panels back on the fence that goes around the garden to keep the chickens and the dogs out. Just enjoying the day, listening to the birds and the chickens, and everything's getting more active, and it's just a really beautiful time of year, and I really enjoy just being outside. Even if all I can do is sit outside in the rabbit barn today, that'll be just fine with me because I like watching them. I'm gonna get the rabbit tractor fixed up because it got destroyed during the winter when I had someone else's dog come, and I had some baby chicks in there, and they come in and they literally like made a hole in the side of my rabbit tractor, which I used for a chicken tractor at that time. But I'm gonna be repairing that, putting some new fence on it, and okay, I'll put some more fence on it and try to fix it up for the rabbits this year. That's about all. I mean, there's too many to list right now. I did get a hold of my handyman because every single person that's in my kind of shape needs a handyman, and I'm gonna give him some work. Want him to get the rest of the firewood on either side of this rabbit barn out. We had brought it up here from the barn to store it for winter, so when we had to get wood for the fireplace, we didn't have to walk all the way out to the barn. And the barn's probably about 75 yards out from the back door, somewhere in there. And when you're in my kind of shape and it's cold, that's not something you want to do that day. But you find out that country life isn't all about fun and games. It's nice to come out and enjoy the animals, but most generally it's work. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's what I chose to do with my life and my time, and it's brought personal joy to me. It's brought my anxiety levels down. I had a lot of anxiety when I lived in town. I always kind of felt like every time you walked outside, you were on display for the neighbors. You know, what is she doing over there? Now what's she doing? Well, oh, she was just out a minute ago, and oh, she's got a car driving up. I wonder who that is. You know, that's how it felt for me living in town. And I live in a place now, I don't have any neighbors. And I really enjoy it. It's nice. I don't have to hear traffic and horns and sirens and everything that comes with living in town. Um, I've gotten really comfortable out here. I didn't think I'd like living this far out at first, but when I lived out here for a couple months, it really resonated with me that this is where I find my peace. Sometimes I will jump on the lawnmower and go through some paths that are up through my woods, and just stop the lawnmower, turn it off, and just sit there and just listen to the woods. It's just so relaxing to me. It helps me focus. It helps my kids focus. My kids have come a really long way. Just being out here in the country, it's fresh air. It's like my own little paradise out here, and they call it the middle of nowhere everywhere else, but I call it my paradise. I don't need to go on vacation. People pay a lot of money to vacation where I get to live. I get to live. Someone has this in mind for vacation. And it is beautiful here in the Arkansas Apache Mountains. In fact, there's another man that's got a YouTube video on, and it's a really interesting video. My mother and I watch it all the time. Check it out. It's called Apache Mountain Living. And the guy's first name is Mike, and he does a terrific job, and he tries to keep it real. And I think that's what I like, because too many times there's not enough real people in the world. I think that the personality that he has on camera would probably be his personality off camera too. But he'd be a nice man to meet and watch his videos. He does a really good job. I appreciate you, Mike, and I asked his permission on the comments before I mentioned his channel on my channel. So make sure you watch Mike and his Apache Mountain Living. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apache. Somebody will correct me on that. But Apache Mountain Living. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mike. He does a few channels. He's got one that's called The Dog Man, and in October he does a really fantastic thing that I thought about doing too. But he gives all the money that he makes off his YouTube channel, and he gives it to a local shelter to help with the costs. And he does a really fantastic job. He's got a good heart. But check out his channel too. Outside of that, there's a lot of good YouTubers out there, and I know that some I subscribed to, and then as their videos went on, I unsubscribed to them. But technology has made it to where we get to choose that. You know, back when I was younger, we didn't have a lot of choice on what we watched. Our media was the television, and it usually got 3 channels, if you're lucky. Sometimes you'd have to get up and adjust the rabbit ears, and you know, we didn't have even a remote control. When I was younger, we were the remote control. We were the parents' remote control, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just, we got some good people out there on YouTube, and I'm really grateful for them. I mostly watch YouTube. If I got the television on or anything like that, I'm usually watching YouTube, and usually it's Apache Mountain Living or The Dog Man. I like good news, and there's one channel, I'd have to see which one it was to mention it to you, but it's a man that, he's a news anchor, he's a journalist, and he goes around the country and he makes news broadcasts that's good news instead of all the bad and the negative news. But for some reason, us as a society, we like the bad, and I guess we're more homed into the bad news as opposed to the good news. trust me, there's really good news out there. It's not all negative, but our mainstream medium here in this country seems to stretch the truth. It used to be when I was growing up, you turned on the news, they gave you the facts, and you got to make your own opinion about the facts. Well, now they don't give you facts as much as they give you their opinion on the facts, if they're facts at all. We really got to decipher what's true, what's false, what's a little bit true, half truths and half not truths. And usually, if you use your mind and you can decipher it, it's probably somewhere right there in the middle. But everything's come a long way with technology and even the way they present the news. You got to kind of form your own opinion, use the thinker that God gave you. We all have it. We all have times where we think that can't be true. A top administration in the White House have said some things about the war in Iran, about how I won't mention any names, but how we obliterated Iran's their air, sea, and land defenses, and then the next day or the next channel you turn on and Iran's been blowing Israel up with all these drones. And yesterday I heard something about an F-35 getting hit by something. We don't know if it was from Iran. We don't even know if it's true. It could be just hype and propaganda to get us going. The news is a lot of that. It's a lot of propaganda. It's a lot of falsehoods. They set the narrative. They set the narrative for all of us. But if you really think about it, back in our day, we got the facts. We did. We got the facts, and most of them I think were probably accurate. But now you turn to the news and it's always decisive. They're dividing us all, dividing us by our political affiliation, by the color of our skin. Still, and it's 2026, and they still want to divide us by skin color. How much melatonin is in your skin? Sunflower, come here. She wants to round up the rabbits. She can't round up the rabbits, so she gets under the cage and she'll nip at it. But there's a lot of politics out there, and I try to stay away from politics as much as possible, but it's almost in your face. I think I'll just stay out here in my little corner of the world and just let the world be world, because there's nothing we can do about it. We can go to all of our protests and all that, and they might show you protesting on the news, but you're probably not going to change a thing, because they got more money than we do, and they've got access to more privileged information than we do. So we have to remind ourselves of that too. When we see what's going on in Washington, we only see bits and pieces. We don't see the background. We just got to trust that the people that we elected will do what's right for the majority of the people in America. But on that note, we're going to change that subject. Right now, I'm going to pan this around so that y'all can see these girls that are looking at me. Talk about an audience up here. Look at these girls. That's my audience there. And now I got Pup here, and he's wanting to get some attention, aren't you? It's the first time I've been outside today, so everybody wants their attention. He's got another daggum tick on him. The tick medicine we put on him works pretty good, but sometimes they still get them. They're still going to get them on them, but according to the package directions, I think they got to bite them before they die. Not real sure of the science of that. I'll leave that up to somebody else, but we just love our animals, and we don't want them to be miserable with fleas and ticks. Because I don't know if you live in Arkansas for any amount of time, or even come to visit, you're gonna have a tick on you. At one point or another, you're gonna have a tick on you. I think this is the tick and chigger capital of the world. But you're gonna live with them, and it's definitely a thing here. That's probably the worst thing around here, I think, is the ticks and chiggers. A lot of folks worry about snakes. We've got a lot of snakes out here in the country, but most generally, they're not gonna mess with you. I think I caught one snake one time in my chicken coop, and I shoot him out with a garden shovel, a digging shovel, and I brought him out. He got outside, and I took the digging shovel and I just cut him up into bits and pieces. And then later on, out of my own fear, I did that. But later on, I found out that it was just a rat snake, and they're actually a good snake. But it wasn't a good snake in my chicken coop. No, so he won't return to the chicken coop anymore. Sunflower's trying to chase chickens. The chickens that were up there watching the video and maybe wanted to be a part of, they were my spectators. My first spectators are two-legged feathered friends. And Pup just can't get enough here. He's a good old dog. Yeah. Wonder why we spoil our animals so much, but it's so easy, you know. They do us good. It's actually therapy. They have dogs for therapy. Sometimes just petting an animal will bring blood pressure down. And there's studies that's actually showed that. So I got 3 of them, so I should have low blood pressure. Not. But there's a good old pup. He come up to my house one day. I think somebody dropped him. That's another downer about living in the country. You get animals that are dropped off, and I guess they just assume you're gonna take care of them. But he came up one day, and I didn't feed him. I was like, I know better than to feed a stray dog, because if you feed them, they're not gonna go away. So it's been probably a week went by, and I didn't feed him, didn't put water out, didn't do anything. I ignored him when I'd go to and from my car to go somewhere. And one weekend, my son come and helped me. He put up some drywall in my garage for me. My 30-year-old son, I can't believe he's 30 now, but he was putting up drywall in the garage, and he goes, "Mom, that's a really nice pup. I might take him with me." And I go, "Take him. He's been here for 2 weeks. I haven't fed or watered him, and he's just sticks around." I gotta rewind for a minute. I even so much as put off bottle rockets and put them off the front porch to shoot up in the sky and pop, because I figure, well, maybe that'll scare him off. He'll go wherever he's from. If somebody dropped him off, I don't know, but maybe he'll go back to where he came from. That didn't work either. He just looked at me like, "Oh, put some more of those off." So after my son came and was doing the drywall in the garage, and he said, "Mom, that's a really nice pup, you know. I might just take him on with me." And I said, "Please, son, take him on with you," because at the time I had already had 2 dogs, and I really didn't want another one. And after we got done talking about him, and my son pet him on the head a couple times, that dog come right back over by me and laid down right beside me where I was standing. And my son crawled up on the ladder, and he looked back and he goes, "No, Mom, I can't take that dog. That dog's your dog. He definitely chose you. Look at him." And I go, "Well, it's been 2 weeks. I might as well give him a cup of food." So that's been the story of him. But when he was staying here, I didn't want to name him anything, so I just called him Pup. And Pup turned into Pup E Dog, or Pup A Dog, whatever mood I'm in for that moment. But he's really turned out to be a good boy. He's a good boy. Never messed in the house, never got into anything. The only vet bill I have with him is, the flea and tick meds, and I did get him neutered because I don't want you got another one, don't you? Hope it's dead. Yeah, he's a dead one. Good. The one thing I got in him is the flea and tick and neuter. Um, I do my own doggy nails, so I don't have to worry about that. Um, but yeah, I believe every companion animal, please, please spay and neuter your dogs and your cats because there's so many of them out there. Like I said, there's a man on Atwacha Mountain Living, and the month of October, he sends his entire video proceeds to an animal shelter to help them out because it's expensive to run those shelters. Those animals had to be fed, watered, which water costs money, housed, which is your time, and to try to find them a home, they have to advertise. Their flea and tick meds or anything like that would be a total mess because everybody in the kennel would be infested with fleas and ticks. Please, please, please spay and neuter your animals. It is so important. And there are so many animals, dogs and cats, that need us. Go to a shelter and get your animals. I got a cat one time up in Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, and I think it cost me $30. It was $30 for the cat or the dog, and I needed a cat for my cat. One of my cats had died, and my other cat was going nuts because there was no companion for her. So I went looking for her a companion, and I was able to go to Horseshoe Bend Animal. It's definitely an animal shelter, but it's a kill shelter. So that's the one I needed to make sure I went to. And I picked out the most gorgeous calico cat and named her Maisie. And it was $30. And some of these shelters, like this one, they actually paid for the spaying of this cat and her rabies shots. Free. It came with the adoption fees. So check out your local shelter if you need a companion animal, dog, cat, whichever one you choose, whichever one fits in your life. Please, please go to an animal shelter. You're saving a life. We might not be able to save any of them, but we can save one. Just one. They mean everything. And cats and dogs have feelings. If you yell at my dog and ask them if I have all 3 dogs and somebody messed up on the floor, you know what I mean by messed up, had an accident on the floor, all I have to do is say, who did it? And the one that did it, their head will go down and down and down, and they'll walk away and they'll look back. They do it just like that too. They give themselves away. So, I mean, they have feelings. If you yell at them, they'll cower. If you hit them, it shit hurts. Need to edit that out, maybe. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Yeah, you know what I mean. I apologize for that because I don't edit these videos. I'm not going to start editing videos just because I want you to see real. You might see me go up like this to push the buttons on my camera, but I want everything real. But these animals, they have feelings, and you know, what would it feel like to you if you were abandoned and around a whole bunch of people you didn't know? I feel pretty bad, but they do have feelings, and people with a good heart that need to give some of that away, adopt a shelter animal. It's so important. And for goodness sakes, please spay and neuter what you do have, because we don't need any more. We're overcome with dogs and cats in these shelters, and it's pretty sad. But I guess I'm gonna get to work on my feeding and watering these guys. And the chickens, I fed and watered them before I got on here, so that's done. And now all I gotta do is get up and feed and water my rabbits. Or back there, rabbits. And I'm gonna be talking to the local Tractor Supply, which is up here in Ash Flat, about taking and sharing some of these rabbits with people around our area. And I'll let you know what day we're gonna do it, and maybe I'll see you there. You get to come out and meet me and Holly and David, and some of our rabbits. And who knows, you might decide to start up some rabbits of your own. Anyways, that's a take for right now rabbit country, and I got a lot of work to do. So y'all take care, and God bless. Bye.